Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have a magic formula for success, while others struggle their entire lives? What if I told you that billionaires follow specific rules that make failure almost impossible? Today, I'm going to reveal the exact principles that separate the ultra-wealthy from everyone else. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why these strategies are so powerful that they practically guarantee success. But here's the thing most people don't realize about billionaires. They don't just work harder or get luckier than everyone else. They operate by a completely different set of rules that most people never even know exist. These aren't the typical motivational quotes you see on social media. These are the real, behind-the-scenes principles that billionaires use to build their empires. Let me start with the most counterintuitive rule that billionaires live by, and it's going to shock you. Rule number 1 is that they never try to avoid failure. Instead, they make failure impossible by redefining what failure means. While most people see failure as the end of the road, billionaires see it as expensive education. They understand that every setback contains valuable information that brings them closer to success. Think about it this way. When you're playing a video game, you don't quit the first time you lose a level. You learn from your mistakes and try again with better strategy. Billionaires apply this same mindset to real life. They fail fast, fail cheap, and fail forward. This is why companies like Google have killed hundreds of projects that didn't work out. But they've also created some of the most valuable innovations in history. The second rule that makes failure impossible is the billionaire's approach to risk. Here's what most people get wrong about risk. They think billionaires are big risk takers, but that's completely backward. Billionaires are actually risk eliminators. They don't take big risks. They take calculated risks where the potential upside is massive and the downside is limited. Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors, has a simple rule. He never invests in something he doesn't understand. This isn't about being conservative, it's about being smart. When you truly understand something, you can see opportunities that others miss and avoid dangers that others fall into. Billionaires spend enormous amounts of time studying and understanding before they make any major moves. But here's where it gets really interesting. The third rule is that billionaires never work for money. This sounds crazy, but let me explain. While most people trade their time for money, billionaires make money work for them. They focus on building systems, creating assets, and developing income streams that generate money even when they're sleeping. This is the difference between being an employee and being an owner. Employees get paid for their time, but owners get paid for their results. Billionaires understand that time is their most valuable asset, so they use money to buy back their time rather than using time to chase money. They hire people to handle tasks that others can do, freeing themselves up to focus on high-level strategy and decision-making. The fourth rule that makes failure impossible is the billionaire's relationship with problems. Most people try to avoid problems, but billionaires actively seek them out. Why? Because every problem is an opportunity in disguise. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. This is why billionaires often enter industries that others consider too difficult or complicated. Elon Musk didn't start Tesla because the automotive industry was easy. He started it because the industry had massive problems that needed solving. The same goes for SpaceX and the space industry. By focusing on solving big problems, billionaires create massive value, and massive value creation leads to massive wealth creation. Here's the fifth rule, and this one is crucial. Billionaires never compete on price, they compete on value. When you compete on price, you're essentially saying that your product or service is the same as everyone else's, just cheaper. But when you compete on value, you're creating something unique that people are willing to pay premium prices for. Apple is a perfect example of this principle. They don't make the cheapest phones or computers. They make products that people perceive as having higher value, and they charge accordingly. This strategy allows them to maintain higher profit margins and build a stronger brand. Billionaires understand that being the cheapest is a race to the bottom, but being the best is a race to the top. The sixth rule is about leverage, and this is where billionaires really separate themselves from everyone else. They understand that success isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. They use 3 types of leverage to multiply their efforts. First is financial leverage, using other people's money to fund their ventures. Second is human leverage, using other people's time and skills to execute their vision. Third is technological leverage, using systems and automation to scale their operations. This is why a billionaire can make more money in a single day than most people make in a year. They're not working millions of times harder than everyone else. They're using leverage to multiply their impact. Every decision they make gets amplified through their systems and teams. The seventh rule that makes failure impossible is the billionaire's approach to information. They understand that information is power, but only if it's the right information at the right time. Billionaires don't just consume information randomly. They have systems for gathering, processing, and acting on information that gives them competitive advantages. They surround themselves with the smartest people in their industries. They pay for access to information that others can't get. They invest in research and development to stay ahead of trends. Most importantly, they act on information quickly, while others are still debating whether it's worth acting on. Here's the eighth rule, and this one might surprise you. Billionaires never try to be original. They understand that most successful ideas are improvements on existing concepts rather than completely new inventions. They look for proven concepts that they can execute better, scale bigger, or apply to new markets. Facebook wasn't the first social media platform. Google wasn't the first search engine. Amazon wasn't the first online bookstore. But these companies took existing concepts and executed them better than anyone else. Billionaires understand that execution is more important than innovation. They focus on doing things better rather than doing completely new things. The ninth rule is about focus, and this is where most people fail. Billionaires understand that success requires saying no to good opportunities so they can say yes to great ones. They don't try to do everything. They pick one or two areas where they can dominate, and they put all their energy there. This is why successful people often seem to have tunnel vision. They're not distracted by every shiny object that comes their way. They have clear priorities and they stick to them. They understand that doing a few things extremely well is more valuable than doing many things adequately. The 10th rule that makes failure impossible is the billionaire's relationship with time. They understand that time is their most valuable resource, and they protect it fiercely. They don't waste time on activities that don't move them closer to their goals. They delegate, automate, or eliminate everything that doesn't require their specific skills and expertise. This is why billionaires often seem to have more time than everyone else, even though they're running massive companies. They've learned to focus their time on the activities that create the most value, and they've built systems to handle everything else. The 11th rule is about continuous learning. Billionaires never stop learning and growing. They understand that the world is constantly changing, and they need to evolve with it. They read voraciously, attend conferences, hire coaches, and surround themselves with people who can teach them new things. But here's the key difference. They don't just learn for the sake of learning, they learn with purpose. They focus on acquiring knowledge and skills that will help them achieve their specific goals. They turn learning into a competitive advantage by applying what they learn faster and more effectively than their competitors. The 12th and final rule that makes failure impossible is the billionaire's mindset about abundance. While most people operate from a scarcity mindset, believing that there is only so much success to go around, billionaires understand that success is abundant. They believe that everyone can win, and they look for opportunities to create win-win situations. This abundance mindset allows them to think bigger and take on challenges that others avoid. They're not afraid of competition because they believe the market is big enough for everyone to succeed. They focus on creating value rather than taking value from others. These 12 rules work together to create a system that makes failure almost impossible. When you redefine failure, eliminate risk, build leverage, focus on value, and maintain an abundance mindset, you create conditions where success becomes inevitable. You're not just hoping for good results, you're engineering them. The most important thing to understand is that these aren't just random strategies. They're part of a comprehensive approach to life and business that compounds over time. Each rule reinforces the others, creating a powerful system for achieving extraordinary results. The billionaires who follow these rules don't just get lucky once. They create their own luck by building systems that consistently generate opportunities and protect them from downside risk. They understand that success isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter and building systems that work, even when they don't. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one of these rules and start applying it to your life today. Don't try to implement all 12 at once. Start with the one that resonates most with you and master it before moving on to the next. Remember, billionaires became billionaires by focusing on fundamentals and executing them consistently over time. Which rule are you going to start with? Let me know in the comments below. And if this video helped you understand the billionaire mindset, make sure to subscribe for more content that reveals the real strategies behind extraordinary success.